In today's video, we're going to learn about condition. And if you can remember, in our previous video, we learned about flow control. And we said flow control has three concepts, which is condition, looping, and then UDF. So one of those concepts we're going to learn it today, which is condition. If you understand condition, you will know how to write if statement in your program, how to write else if statement, else statement, and you will understand how they work. As you can see here, this is the example of conditional statement in Python programming. And this condition, you see we have like almost 9 lines of code, but not all of this code is going to be run because we put the condition in the flow of the program so that some of the code is going to be skipped over and move on based on what we wanted to achieve. So let me give you a story. Let's say there's a kid maybe you wanted to send to buy something for you in a shop, and when you call that kid, you gave him the money and said, go and buy biscuit for me in so shop, and you give him a condition. If you go to that shop and you notice you don't know anyone in the shop, so don't buy anything for me, just come back home. So as you can see, that kid you wanted to send, you give him a condition. You said, if this is true, then I want you to act this way. And if that condition is true, which is if there is no one you know in the shop, then I want you to come back home. So you give it a condition, and else, which is saying if there is no any person you know in the shop, come back home. And if there is a person you know in the shop, then ask him to help you buy the biscuit and come and bring it back to me. So you see, you give it a condition. You give the boy a condition. So when the boy reaches the shop, he's going to start looking for the condition. Okay, we'll look around. Is there anyone that I know that he can help me buy biscuit? If he notices there is not anyone he know in the shop, then what he's going to do, he's going to come back home based on the condition you gave him. So this is what we call condition. And how does that condition work in programming? Well, they are slightly the same, they are slightly different. This one is a human being, but this one is a computer. It works based on logic. So as you can see, this is an example of condition that you're going to use. This is exactly how you write conditional statement in Python programming. There is different way of writing it, but this is just for beginner level. You can add complex condition, but this one is just a simple condition that I just want you to understand so that you can write way more condition complex than this one. So you can see at the beginning I created a variable called age, and this age I assigned 10 to it. Then I will come here and set age, is it greater than 15? So we already know that in our age we store 10, and we're going to say, okay, does this 10 greater than this 15? Well, the answer is going to be false. That means this is not true. This condition is not true. So this condition 10 is not greater than 15, which is the condition, is false. So our program is not going to be executed, which is going to be skipped and look for this next condition. And our program will look at this second condition and say, okay, now we have age, which is age, we store 10 inside it, and it's going to take our age, is it equivalent to 15, which is, we know our age is 10. Is it equivalent to 15? No. Also this condition is false, so our program is not going to be executed, which is going to be skipped over. And also this condition is false. So then, since these two conditions, if and else if, they are not true, then the condition the program has no excuse than to just run this code, which is called else. This else only run if the above condition they are not true. So as you can see here, we have if is not true, else if is not true, then the program has no way to go unless to run this else statement. So this is the reason why we put else statement. Else statement, we put it if all of the condition we gave to the program is not true, then the else condition is going to be run at the end. So I hope you understand conditional statement. So now if I run the code, as you can see, this is how the flow of the program going to be. Okay, and the program will start from here and then check this condition is not true, then we'll skip it over. Check this one is not true, then it will skip it over and then run this one. Then when it run this else, then it print you are allowed to own a smartphone, then you are not allowed, then it's going to print this, the rest of the code. So let's run it and see the output. As you can see, this is the output. We only have two output because the rest of the program is being skipped because the condition is not true. You see, this is what I write in the else statement. Say you are not allowed to own a smartphone. It's just a simple program where I write to check if a kid age is greater than 15, then the program will decide, okay, based on your age, the program will decide whether you can own a smartphone or you cannot own a smartphone. Then here it said you are not allowed to own a smartphone because that's what we put in the else if both of the condition is not true. And then he print this one, which is the last one, the rest of the code. The reason why I put this the rest of the code is that when this condition skips some of the code, then those code that you do not put inside a condition, they're going to be run. If I have another code here, they're also going to be run, since because I did not put them inside a condition. But the one that I put them inside condition, as you can see, this is the condition, and I give it some little space just to tell the program, okay, this line of code is inside this condition. We call this little space indentation in Python programming. In some other programming, they are not using indentation, you are using curly bracket to put the code that the computer is going to run when the condition is true. So also our program is, when this condition is true, then the program will run this. So there is something I want you to understand. If one of those conditions is true, this condition, they are all together. So Python programming will check if one of them is true. Only one of them is supposed to be wrong. This is the rule. Only one of them is going to be wrong. Either if the condition is true, then the if statement, which is in line 2, is going to be wrong. You can see they are all tied together. So the line 2, which is if statement, if the condition is true, is the only one going to be run. When it run, then it will come back and continue running the rest of the code. If it is not true, then it will check for the else if. If else if is true, then the rest of the code is not going to be, and the rest of the condition is not going to be run like else. Then it will jump and continue running the code. But if both of them they are not true, then the computer has no option unless to run this else statement. So what if I write if statement, then I give it condition, and I write another if statement, then I give it condition. So in this case, the program will not tie all these if statements together. For example, it will not say this if statement is grouped with another if statement. It's going to be run this if statement individually and also run this if statement individually. If you want your program to have different if statement that run individually, each one of them you have to use if statement, not else if. But if you put else if below if statement, so they are tied together, it's like a backup plan. If the if statement is not run, then the else if will look, and the program will look for else if. If else if not run, then the program will look for else. So this is how conditional statement works. And this condition, make sure whatever you put inside this condition is going to yield one of two things, either true or false. Whatever you know in program that if you combine them, they're going to bring out true or false. So those are the things that you can put in a conditional statement. For example, I can use a comparison operator. You can remember your operators. You can use comparison operator because the output of comparison operator is either true or false. And also I can use logical operator because we know that logical operator, the output of logical operator is either true or false. And also I can use membership operator as my condition because we all know that membership operator also return true or false. And also I can use identity operator because also we know that identity operator is going to yield true or false. Anything that you know in your program, if you combine them, they're going to bring out true or false. Then those are the things that you can put as a condition. Else they are not going to give you true or false, then don't use them as a condition. For example, you said okay, if, then you write 1 plus 1, then run this code. You will definitely get an error because 1 plus 1 is not going to give you true or false. Is it going to give you 2? But in Python programming, since it's going to give you a number, the program might work thinking that since it is a number, it will look at it as a true. But not that. This is not a good way to write a condition, because if you write if 1 plus 1, then do this condition. This is not a good practice. You should either use something that will give you a condition. For example, if 1 is equivalent to 1, then do this. This one, you are checking the comparison between, is it 1 equal to 1? If they are equal, then do some certain stuff. So I hope you understand comparison conditional statement. So in conditional statement, like I said, is divided into 3. We have if, else if, and else. And whenever you write them all together, one after the other, if, else if, and else, they are tied together. Only one of them is going to be run. If you want individual conditional statement, then you should use if, like this. Then if you write it like this, then you can have the program to say, okay, check this condition also, and also check this one, also check any one of them. Even though this one is going to be run, then the computer will still check this condition. Also is going, if it is true, then also going to run it. So see you in our next video where I'm going to explain the concept of loop.